have a vampire in the Dark
Valley
Ages games that really thinks this reading thing's a fad.
I guess it probably is. We're live, by the way. Hi. So, now that we know that we're live, I want you all to imagine for just a moment that you're seeing a very distant figure walking through the desert. You can barely see them. It's kind of like, sort of the heat rises up and you see this one lone figure just very slowly approaching. And echoing from the distance we hear, "The valley cried out its last tears as beasts encircled their prey. The old gods made to lend their ears to their chess pieces' last days." Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Channel Otherdoc. I'm Jim. I use he/him pronouns, and this is our short campaign of Casket Land. This is an occult western game by Marie Enger that's set in the end times and is powered by the apocalypse. One thing I just want to mention before we introduce everybody is that this channel is still involved with a charity drive that we've got going on with our Sprawl campaign. That's for the Bail Project. That's, again, to help out protesters. So any folks wanting to donate to that are always welcome to. We are Team Phyllis, because that is a very important NPC in our Sprawl campaign. So maybe feel free to go and follow that link and donate if you so desire. I also just want to briefly mention the Zero Project is another charity to go and check out if folks are so inclined. That is dedicated to ending police violence. Now let's go ahead and go around and say hi to everybody and find out who they are and who they're playing. And we shall start with Alyx. Hello.
Hello. I am Alyx Wolf. My pronouns are they, them. And tonight I will be playing Tony Moon. Pronouns she, they.
Excellent. And now let us head over to Kestrel. Hello.
Hi, I am Kestrel, right? Pronouns she, her, and I will be playing the drifter, Amelia Bird, whose pronouns are also she, her.
Awesome, awesome. And now let us go over to Kenny. Hello.
Hello, I'm Kenny, he, him. I'm playing Dux Hillier, the down-on-his-luck gambler.
Excellent, excellent. And now over to Marlo. Hello.
Hi, I'm Marlo. I use she, her pronouns, and I am playing... Oh gosh, who am I playing tonight? Oh no!
Angie.
Angie. Yeah, you better not call her Angela either. I'm playing Angie. She uses she, her pronouns.
Excellent, excellent. And finally, Joel. Hello.
Hi, I'm Joel Kinsel. Tonight I am playing John Lazarus, miner who failed to die. By which I mean guy that digs in the dirt, not little kid. And, well, he did fail to die as a little kid as well. Both of us use he, him pronouns.
Awesome, awesome. And before we dive fully into this, just as a reminder, like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. So if we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, any of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, or make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, then we can type an N in the Zoom chat, and we'll fade to black on it, or we'll put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think, maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that, again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. And with that, let us enter Casket Land. It's a very bleak place, full of caskets lining the countryside. Nary a drop of water in sight. The water is running out. We're going to settle into into a little town that The signposts by now have torn away. Some folks remember it as Pine Valley. Some folks remember it as Ponderosa Valley. We're not entirely sure. But as we sort of zoom in, I just kind of want to go around and see where everyone is starting from and what we see of them. The first thing we see of each character. So I'm going to go around briefly, and as we descend into this town, the camera is going to light on first on Tony Moon. What do we see, and where are they, and what are they doing?
I'm in my shop. It's early in the day before I'm opened, and I am at the mirror finishing up my own shave and cleaning up the edges on my haircut, and getting ready to start the day, putting everything in its place, having a bit of a snack before everyone comes in. Is there still coffee in Casket Land?
Well,
Or is water that precious?
I feel as though there are coffee grounds. But very, very little.
I will choose to waste a little bit of my water to turn those coffee grounds into a little bit of cold coffee.
Okay.
And that's what I spend my morning
You may
doing.
use a drink of water if you so desire to create
Well,
coffee.
I really just converted it into cold brew,
That's
but
fair. That's fair. So, and then we're going to pan around another place in the town as we're wandering around here, and we're going to come across the Drifter, Amelia Bird. What do we see?
He is sitting in the tavern. I imagine where the bar is, where Angie also spends a lot of time. Sitting back kind of against the wall next to a small corner table that she tends to frequent when she can grab that table. Sitting, leaning back against the wall, her feet propped up on a chair, working on her breakfast, surveying the room. She looks pretty tough, not easily bothered by things, but carefully watching who comes and goes, and if she sees someone unfamiliar, might seem a little unsettled while she tries to figure out who they are.
Awesome. We're going to continue moving around. We're going to come across our gambler. Ducks, what do we see?
Dux is actually in the Angie's bar also, but Dux is in the back room or the kitchen area, cleaning dishes and helping clean up, as he tends to do on nights when he doesn't do well, which is pretty often, to kind of in trade for Angie giving him a place to sleep. So he's just shaking his head about a bad beat in poker the night before and doing tasks you normally don't expect from a person who gambles for a living. Taking out garbage and, whatever it is, cleaning the floors, whatever Angie asks him to do, he's doing.
Well, let us move around a little bit, and then we will come and see Angie. What is Angie doing? What do we see?
So she's at her usual station behind the bar, wiping it. Even though she wiped it last night when she closed down, she's wiping it again this morning. She's inspecting the glasses, making sure they're clean. She takes a lot of pride in her bar and giving people clean glasses without lipstick on the rim. And she is just surveying the early risers who have happened in.
Cool. Yeah. So, finally, the camera will move once again, and we're going to pan over John Lazarus. Where is John? What is John doing?
If you look between the buildings in the town just before the sun's coming up in the dim light that we almost can see clearly. There's a little tiny hillock kind of a thing. And as it gets a little brighter, you realize that's actually just John kind of hunched over. And he's doing something in the dirt. And then the sunlight hits him. And now it's morning. So he stands, takes his required drink of water for the morning, leans back over, pets the little lump on the ground, and walks away.
Nice. Excellent. So, it is known to all of you that that there are very few people left in town. This could very well be the last the last 3 days anyone is on Earth. The only other people that are in town at this point, there are two beyond yourselves right now. They are Sedge and Air. Now, there are also, of course, that's not to say that everyone died necessarily. A number of folks went out and joined the bandits that are out in the countryside, or tried to find ways to leave the valley. They have not returned. Sedge is, how to describe, Sedge is basically, was, often spoke for the town. I think, she was, up until I think she was the last person that was responsible for the church before it sort of tore up. And the caskets emerged and just tore the place to bits. And she has done what she can at this point to try to keep the community together. But at this point, she is somewhat despondent. And can usually be found at this point in a little building near the church. She has not left her room. She did not come out of her room yesterday. Air is a supplier, essentially. There's a place in the town called the Equip Dwell. And this was back when there was, it was a hardware store at one time. He is very, he basically at this point is very distrustful of anyone because most of the bandits grabbed most of his inventory. He was able to hold on to what he was able to hold on to. But he's sort of an older fellow and has thus far been able to do what he can to keep alive.
Quick question.
Mm-hmm.
How long has it been since the caskets came out of the ground?
I think it's been a little while. What do we want to say it's been? I feel like it's been perhaps at bare minimum a number of months, possibly a number of years, if that sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
I want to say probably most of them. There are more every day. But I would say that probably maybe a year ago, or a year or two ago, was when the first ones started cropping up. Just maybe happened slowly at first. And then they just now litter the they litter the landscape.
Do people or have people tried to destroy them, or
The caskets?
yes?
It is a thing that has happened. It has been tricky. Because generally speaking, when someone goes out and gets close to one, some caskets, in the early days it seemed easy to destroy them. But nowadays it's about like a maybe 1 in 3 or possibly even 50-50 shot that someone who goes up to a casket is not going to come back.
Oh.
Something happens. But the odd thing is, you destroy a casket, more are coming. So it's very difficult to displace these things.
Everything grows and gets stronger in the dirt.
It does. See, you understand. You're outside, and you will note that at the edge of town, there is someone standing there. Very tall, thin figure. Looks like they have a... they're wearing sort of a poncho-like thing and covered in bandages, and they have a staff.
Do I recognize this fella?
Well, if you get a little bit closer, so that you can see from all the sand that's blowing around, you note that, yes, you believe this is Loam. This is, yeah. This is your town's madman, basically the one that's closest to your town.
Morning, Loam. You got any sense in you to share today?
He nods. And he's going to start
I'd be
walking
glad to
forward.
hear it.
He starts walking forward and seemingly purposefully in the direction of the bar.
I'll go with him.
Yeah. As you're
Heck,
sort of
I'll go open the door for him.
As you're walking along, as you start walking alongside him, you sort of hear this, you sort of hear this sort of whisper, "The time is upon us."
Had to be coming soon.
So you go forth, and Loam does not respond when you say that, but you head forth and you open. So everyone who's in the will sort of note. He does not actually step in, but yeah, those who are inside will note that the front door has opened, and John has opened the door, and standing outside the door, visible, is the figure of Loam. And Loam is not going in. But he's
Morning, folks.
Making himself visible.
Angie looks up at the door and sees Loam. Are you coming in or not?
Loam
just mopped.
I just.
Loam is scratching something in the dirt with his staff.
I'm gonna throw my the rag I was cleaning with over my shoulder and march out to see what he's carving.
He is. You get up to him just as he's finishing. And he sort of looks up, and you see down there, it says "Gather."
Andy's gonna turn around and look back inside the bar and give a holler. Hey, everybody, come on! He wants us to gather!
I'll get up and go over to Angie.
I'll go fetch Sedge. I'll be right back.
I begrudgingly go outside, knowing everyone's going to drag dirt into the bar afterwards.
He basically steps out, steps a little bit back, and is now standing kind of closer to the middle of the street, and just waiting.
Someone should go get the barber.
With that, I come out of my shop, noticing how still and quiet and strange things have gotten stranger than usual. And I clean the blade on my towel and fold it and put it away in my pocket.
Loam's over there.
I just look up and watch Loam, see if he's doing anything in particular or still just standing there.
He seems to be waiting for something. John, you're going to go get Sedge?
I am.
Okay.
Is she okay, or?
So you go up to her little one-room cottage, and you kind of knock on her door, and you don't hear anything for a moment, and then you hear something shift inside. Who is it?
It's John. Loam's asked us to gather.
What's that bastard want?
He's waiting.
He's come for every
I
tiniest
came to
last...
gather you.
He's come for every tiniest last piece of us. You sort of hear more shifting around, and you see that Sedge has sort of stumbled to the door. She opens it, and she's wearing a bathrobe, and pajama type things underneath, and she looks very haggard at this point. She's very haggard and disheveled.
I'll nod at her and go, "Ma'am," and offer her my arm.
Sort of narrows her eyes. She'll be like, she'll move past you, and she'll start heading over.
I'm going to take the long way around to go stand by Ducks. I don't know if Angie's also standing over there.
Yeah, she's out there.
So I'm going to very quietly sidle up behind Ducks and Angie and just lean over. So, what's happening? What does he want?
Do that.
Angie jumps. She didn't realize she was there. Oh, Lord. You gotta be so creepy all the time. Ugh, he just asked us to gather.
Well, here's me gathering.
Lum is just still
I think
standing
someone's
there,
missing.
still.
Did anybody go get air?
I always forget about Air.
Where's Air?
I guess in the shop. I don't know. I hadn't seen him today.
Well, I guess I'll go fetch him if y'all like.
You try not to scare him. He's old.
Well, then all the more reason to approach cautiously and quietly. And with that, I don't turn. I walk backwards. And then round the corner of the building, watching you with my eyes the whole time.
Yeah.
I imagine Angie watches her do that and then just kind of gives this like sort of like, oh Tony smile like.
I look at Angie and always does Tony always have to be that creepy?
Well, I grew up with her. She was that way when she was a child too, I tell you.
Have you ever seen Loam do this before?
No, not once.
Yeah, at this point, Sedge is sort of walking up and just been like, sort of looks over and shakes her head. She looks up. The hell do you want? She says to Loam, and Loam just isn't saying anything, obviously. It's just standing there and waiting.
And I'll creep up behind her, I suppose, totally accidentally, and say, "We've not all gathered yet."
Bastard just wants to play games with us.
When I get to the shop, I don't go through the front door. I find a window around back and I just start tapping on it. And I keep tapping.
You see, yeah. After a moment, curtain opens, and you see Air, his very old man stubble, mustache. He's wearing he's got a hat on, that sort of like a thing, not unlike a miner's hat on. He looks up and he's like,
I'm going
"Why'd you
to
do that for? You almost made me jump out of my damn skin."
I'm just going to wave a little and then I'm going to blow in the glass and write Loam backwards to me so he can read it. And then I'm going to gesture towards the center of town.
And he sort of is like, "Ah, hell." He will turn and he will, he's basically, you see him getting in, he's putting his suspenders on and he's getting, everything. Then he will turn around and the curtain falls and he seems to be heading out.
And then I walk back up behind Dux and Angie. It's done.
Jesus. Thank you. Lord.
What? I was quick and I was quiet and no one died.
You know I love you, but this is just, it's too much. This morning with Loam calling this meeting and you being creepy ass per usual, I am not ready for this.
Well, like I told y'all, just... I can dial it back, or as you say, wear a bell.
I vote for the bell.
Pull a bell out of my pocket and just kind of hold it out.
I'm going to take it and I'll tie it around my wrist.
Yeah. Lum has begun drawing something in the ground. You see, as he sees Air approaching, he's kind of drawing these things, which, I should have done something so people could see what I'm drawing terribly, but I'm drawing terribly right now. for folks who want to look at Roll20. But yeah, he draws that. On the ground.
Looks like water or rain.
Nods.
Duck starts coughing, like has a coughing fit. My allergies this morning.
He just sort of narrows his eyes and sort of, as you see, he kind of, will just sort of look at you with a tilted head and just sort of shake his head. Then he looks back down at the ground and he begins drawing again. And let me just check something to see what the next part of this drawing is. Yeah, there we go.
You hear a little tinkling sound as Tony walks around the long way again to crouch on the other side of Loam and watch what he's drawing.
Now I think the bell is kind of creepy. I'm not 100% sold on it anymore.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So he's just drawn this little picture.
So is it gonna rain?
Is it a map?
He turns and he points to the east. And once again, he taps the water droplet symbols again.
Water out east?
Another water chase, but I got business that takes me that way.
How do you possibly have business that takes you anywhere? Everyone in town is here.
Look, we've been over this, Ducks. I have business in the waste, and my business has 4 legs and 2 antlers, and I will string it up by its hindquarters if it is the last thing I do.
There are also other towns.
No, I can't leave yet.
I mean, sure, they're mostly full of dead folks. But there are other towns.
Give my wrist a little jingle.
And so Loam will step away and just sort of turn, and he'll walk away by about let's say about maybe 100 feet toward the on the road, and then he will stop there, and he will turn and he will watch.
That looks like a man that's trying to lead us someplace.
Might as well follow, not like there's much to do here.
Maybe wherever we go, I'll have better luck than I had last night.
Yeah, Sedge at this point is just sort of looking around. Well, you're just going to go and follow that madman out into the wastes?
Well, I'm gonna top off my canteen before I go, assuming there's water in town. But then I'll fill in my one little box, and then go line up with him.
And at this point, Enger is just sort of looking around. It's like, all right, well, you all need supplies. You know where I am. if you got something for it, you can always come back in. I can trade for you for what I got. Just hope this is worth it. He sort of nods, looking over at him. You crazy son of a... And he sort of turns, and he will head back to his shop.
We don't call him the reasonable man of the wastes, you know.
It's fair.
Take a swig of my water and walk over toward Loam.
Yeah, Angie's gonna shrug and go, well, better than dying here, I suppose.
There are worse places to die.
True enough, but there are better ones too, and even though this place looks like it does, and it's been like it has for this, how many, 2 years, 1 year, 2 years, something like that, we gotta have a little bit of hope, I suppose.
Do you? Do you really?
Now, you know me, you know I ain't got no hope at all, but it's better than here, so.
Nice.
How do you not have hope, John? We wrote you off multiple times. We thought you were dead. Hell. Still not sure. You smell a little dead. If anyone should have hope, it should be you.
I may have some. I don't think you have to, though. I mean, look at Sedge. And I'm going to say it right in front of her and just gesture to her just to my left.
She was turning and starting to she was getting ready to sort of basically turn back, and then she then turns back around and looks at you.
And I get caught looking at her. I look away.
I like her and all, but that girl's just fresh out. There ain't no hope left there.
You're just going to get yourselves killed! She turns around and continues walking.
It's not like we have anything else. I'm all for the trip.
He's not led me to final destruction yet.
So, I presume you're all heading with Loam. He starts heading out. You see once you exit the town, you will all note these little little pattern in the sand of the little sort of little mobile little bits of sand coming up and moving alongside him, that are probably his snakes, just hanging out down there. He's got like one on either side of him. They have rejoined him.
Wait, nobody say anything about snakes. I'm a little hesitant. I'm standing further back now.
So he's got.
Are you worried about the snakes, Duck?
Yeah. I just got a new lease on life. I don't need to die from no venom.
I wouldn't worry so much that you hang back. They are faster than you.
That just makes me more uncomfortable.
As you're heading out, and he's just sort of looking around, he just sort of points to you folks, and he's like just sort of points to his eyes, and he points to his eyes, and he points to the landscape. And he turns and he keeps walking. Just sort of pointing around. And who is...
I'll try to keep an eye out.
Yeah. Who is closest to the front with him? Do we think?
I'd say I'd be up there next to him, watching,
Okay.
trying to see what's out there, where we're going, if there's anything dangerous, anything we're tracking.
All right. So now is the time to make the survive move. Which... Yay, the way things are lined up is weird. Yeah. I guess that's one of those... Yeah, here we go. So you're going to be rolling plus backbone.
Okay, I'm not sure. Let's see. Trying to see if any of my
Is everyone
abilities
rolling?
help
Or?
anything here.
No, just that's why I asked who's in front.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah, there's some things that help me with finding a good route, but I'm following low. I'm not trying to make my own path. So plus backbone.
Yeah.
It's always 2d6s, right?
Yeah. So there's a thing in there. There's a macro in there that you can click on if you want to use that. But that's up to you.
I was typing, but apparently it wasn't actually entering it in the box. Oh.
Okay. So that's a very good roll. All right. So as you folks are heading, you note that he seems to be taking you all in the direction of the eastern hill that is that sort of marks the point where it gives out largely to the greater wasteland. Amelia, you will notice as you're kind of sort of keeping an eye out, as you know, the sun is getting up a little bit higher, starting to beat down. That yeah, there are a couple of big lizards that are hanging out near some of the sort of dead scrub and cacti that appear to be kind of sort of lazily lying in wait. And you see them ahead.
How big are we talking?
Let's see. Let me open the thing so that I have the lizards in front of me. Let's see. Yeah, they're about the size. They're the size of small dogs. These are horned lizards. They're looking a little... As best one can tell, they're looking a little hungry.
Any of you seen these lizards acting quite like this before?
Yeah.
They look a little too interested in us for my taste.
Yeah, they are looking quite more active than usual.
I figure they're probably just hungry.
Are we aware of them or only Amelia?
Amelia has just pointed them out.
Got ya. Okay. Well, I've heard that lizard tails are good luck charms. So, we can keep that in mind.
Probably make a good meal too.
I'm now listening for the bell to see if Tony already went to attack them.
Loam has slowed down a little bit when you point them out. And so, yeah, the question is, are people still moving forward, or do they want to try to deviate, or what's going on?
Tony is hanging in the back and looking everywhere but at the obvious threat, scanning the horizon for a spot of movement in the distance. And it's just sort of like, oh, yeah, sure, lizards. But really just kind of like scanning for everything else.
Okay.
Are they directly in our path?
Yes, right now, yes. They're kind of...
What do y'all think? Do you want to... You itching for a fight? Should we keep going?
Let me see if I can go ahead and take care of this for a second.
I think we should go around.
Some little old lizards don't scare me.
I'm going to go ahead and try and swallow them up in the ground.
Ooh.
And no, I instead will sink.
Let's now. One thing that kind of also, before we get to rolling at things, let's just make sure that we, it's generally speaking, PBTA. And the way kind of I'd like to do this is just sort of wait until I prompt you to roll before you actually roll, because there may be other factors that get involved in things.
Alrighty.
Now, what was it you were just? What was it you were just rolling?
I was rolling plus backbone to use that
what?
sloth maneuver, which would have made the ground go shoop,
Okay, let me see.
and
here.
swallow them up for a little bit.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, excellent. Good. Okay.
And when I fail, I kind of get swallowed up a little bit and lose my turn.
Excellent. Also causing +2 backfire. So.
Oh.
So, who else is getting caught up with you?
Does the backfire mean it has to happen to other people?
Well, as far as I can tell, that seems to be one of the themes of the minor. And generally, it's backfire against allies. You can pick yourself if you want to choose yourself. But it's going to, since it doesn't specify who the backfire is against, I'm going to let you choose who it goes to. But it's going to be 2 harm.
I would presume it would be me this time.
Okay. So, you are, what does this look like when you are, do you like run up to the lizards to do this? Is this how this works? Or what does this look like?
No, I was just going to kind of stare at them and make the ground,
Okay, so
respond mentally.
So you just sort of stare as everyone sort of stopped as you just called out that you were going to do this, and you stare at the lizards. They stare back at you. You stare at the lizards. There's a close-up of them staring back at you. It's a very it's a very Leone moment, and then the earth swallows you up. As, sort of like Loam just sort of hops aside and looks down, and you're going to take 2 harm from sort of falling down as rock and sand are just sort of piling into this sinkhole that you've just created, and you all see that John is now kind of being swallowed up. You see it a little bit. He's still reachable right now. But then now
Did the lizards do that?
Oh, the lizards are starting to approach slowly.
I'm looking around, panicked.
That was not what I was aiming for. No, not at all.
Angie looks over to him. John, burying yourself again? That's not useful at all.
How far down? Like, how much does it sink? Is it sucking him in?
Right now, it's basically he's gonna. So he fell down. He's in like a he's in a pit, but his like the top of his head is above it, so he could reach out of it if need be.
He's been buried worse than that before.
Yeah, so it's not down very far.
I'll be fine. Don't fret. It's not the first time.
This is definitely not the first time you've been in a ditch.
I'll use my pitchfork and start kind of trying to dig out around him a little bit to ease his getting out.
Okay.
The pitchfork will clearly make me nervous.
Right, so that's what you're starting to do. What is Ducks doing right now?
Well, Ducks, he was, based on what he felt from his gambling, his chance, he thought we should have avoided this, and now he's shaking his head, knows that this is the repercussions of that. So he is trying to convince everyone we need to get him out of here and not fight them. I'm like trying to pull at Angie's coat maybe, or like, come on, we can still get out of here before things get bad.
All right. And what's Angie doing? How is Angie responding to that?
They know we're here. They're gonna come for us, and they're a mite faster than we are, I'd say.
Are you doing anything as this happens, or are you just gonna kind of what do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna reach around and pull out my knife.
Oh,
Okay.
I told you. I'm gonna say I told you.
Now, Tony, what are you doing?
I'm slowly circling the pit that John made for himself, just waiting to see if he makes his way out of it or not. I'm not going to help, but I am going to watch.
Okay. Loam at this point is just sort of shaking his head, and he's moving. He's sort of darting to the side, along with his snakes, and he seems to be trying to do something to maybe get the attention of the lizards, to try to kind of slow them down or do something. So, I'd like. Let's see here. Do we have helping? Let me just double check that. I don't think we actually do, but we'll come up with a thing. So, I'd like
Give aid.
Give it. Oh, there it is! Yay! Okay. Yes. So Amelia's going to be giving aid to John, and so that's also backbone, unless you have anything special for that. And so that'll help as a kind of a sort of modifier for John in getting up out of the pit before the lizards arrive.
Do I roll plus backbone?
Yes, roll plus backbone, please. Eight. Okay. So 7 to 9. It means, John, you're going to get a +1 to this modified to this next roll that you're going to be doing to try to get up out of the pit. And unless you have anything special here, I'm going to have you attempt to survive. And so that again will be backbone. There you go.
So with her +1 and the +1 I get because this is now a tense situation because the miner has been harmed by 2, I get +1 for that.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
So,
all right. So you are going
I will hook some dirt with my pickaxe and pull myself out.
Okay, so you grab your pickaxe, you're heading up. You are, since 7 to 9 is what we think of as a sort of a partial hit, So you're going to get up out of the pit just as one of the lizards arrives. So Loam seems to be has drawn off one of them, and is kind of trying to deal with it. But the other one is here. And it's now just sort of, it seems most interested right now in John, because, John's been the most interesting target thus far and seems to be aiming in his direction. I'm going to come back around and see, once again, Dux, are you doing anything?
Well, at this point, I feel like I lost the argument. We're going to be fighting this thing. So I'm going to use my 50-50 attack on it. Which, if I don't know, it could hurt me, it could hurt them. That's my understanding of it. So
yes.
Let me just find that on the sheet and
use 1d6 to cast an attack against your enemy.
Oh, I don't know why it rolled 2d6. So let me roll 1. A 3, which gives me. The 3 is bound. You cause your enemy to hallucinate violently.
Okay.
I don't know if that can affect them, but okay, I slash it at it with my knife, and whether it does that or not is I guess your call.
Well, let's see. So you did it. So yeah, let me make sure, because this one is weird because you roll a single d6. So I'm just double checking over how this aspect works. Roll plus creep instead of brawn with only 1d6. The number rolled determines what sort of attack you'll be able to perform. So what's your creep?
My creep is a 2, if I'm not. Yes.
Okay, so that is a total of 5, which is unfortunately still not quite enough to be a success, as you would need a typically. You need a 7 or better. Now, let me just double check something.
Yeah, it's interesting because I could never roll higher than an 8.
Yeah, that's the weird part. So like you need to roll.
If I'm I was gonna say
it's like that would make certain of these impossible.
Yeah,
so like if you roll a 1 on it, it's not gonna, unless you've got like a +6, which isn't possible.
I was just wondering if that determines my attack, and then I make an attack.
Yeah, you know what? I think really honestly, just go ahead and roll. Go ahead now and roll plus creep, because that's the thing that makes the most sense to me.
Okay.
So it's gonna be attack number 3, but go ahead and roll plus creep, and we'll see how it works.
Okay. So it's a +1, I think, based on my attack 3. How did I possibly roll that?
Well, it depends on what exactly did you enter when it asked you for a
modifier? I put 1.
Okay, that should have worked. 5 + 5 + 2 +1. Did you put a plus in front of the 1, or did you just put a 1?
I didn't put the plus. I don't think
you shouldn't have to. That's the thing. But I see what you actually rolled.
Yeah, I was like,
and, you got it. You got basically what's a 13.
Okay.
On this attack. So you have now you've done 1 harm to the lizard, and you've done 1 harm to the lizard, and it's now temporarily paralyzed. It's now. So what does this look like when you are doing this?
I slash at one of its legs with the blade, and it hits it right where the connecting joint almost would be,
mm-hmm.
and I think it may stun it, and it recedes a little bit.
Yeah, it's like it seems just sort of in shock for a second there, just as it's trying to go for John. Angie, what are you doing? You have your weapon out?
Yes, I'm going to take a slash at it with my knife.
Awesome. So unless you have a particular move for this, then this is just going to be a straight a straight attack. So that's going to be brawn plus brawn.
I have a 0 in brawn.
Okay, so that's a 7, which is good for a what they call a partial success or a partial hit. Let's see if anything special is anything special about the knife.
No, it's just says knife.
Excellent. That's very good. That's very Aristotelian of it. Let me just check I'm gonna check the thingy here. So knife. Here we go. It is 2 hurt hand and quiet. Okay, so it's gonna take 2 harm.
Well, what happens to me?
That's an excellent question. I think that because it's funny because these moves are not fully developed so much. It's more of a you just do a thing. So what I think is going to happen is that it's going to. I think at this point it's gonna either you're going to. I think either the way that I'll handle this is either you're going to trade harm or you're going to be in a position where you're not going to be able to do anything next round. So I will let you pick.
I think because you said they're about the size of like dogs, right?
Yeah.
So she has to take a downward slash at it, and as she does, the rocks under her feet kind of like crumble, and she loses her balance and falls.
Okay, awesome. So you fall down. You do get a slash in at it though, so it still took 2 harm from your knife. And now we're over to Tony. What do you want to do?
I see them all hacking and slashing away at this creature and just give him a bell a tinkle. Well, guess I should help out a little bit, shouldn't I? And with a light jangle, I come walking over and I will attack the lizard creature.
Okay.
And I will use cut to the bone. Lets me aim for a crucial spot, and depending on what I get when I roll plus brawn, something will or will not happen.
Excellent.
I'm assuming I can use the macro in the character sheet.
You should be able to do that. That should work, and we'll find out if it works or not.
We'll find out. I have +3 in brawn, so let's see.
Yeah.
Did it do anything?
I see nothing yet. But a thing pops up asking you if you have a modifier, though, so you probably have to answer that.
Oh.
It might be
okay, and then I don't have to put the plus in. I can just put the 3 in.
Yeah, you should. Well, if you've already got, is your +3 in brawn, or do you have a plus from something else?
My +3 is in brawn.
Okay, and you already have that entered on the sheet?
I do. I put it in the current section with
so
a plus symbol in front of it.
It should just read that. So here you could just put a 0 if you have no other modifiers to this.
All right.
Okay.
Did that work? I can't tell if it did or not.
Let me just pull something up real quick.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's working.
Yeah,
it did. It rolled
it
rolled a 7.
It rolled a 7, except I'm only seeing a +2 instead of a +3. So I'm just going to I'm going to open your sheet real quick. I just want to look at this just so that I can make sure that I have this set up properly. I see. Okay, yeah. So you put a plus in front of the 3. So I want to try something. If you don't mind terribly. I have taken the plus away from the 3. I'm going to press this button. I'm going to give a 0 modifier. I'm going to click submit. And yeah, that now is so
okay, so was it the plus symbol that was breaking it?
Yes, it was.
I thought I had to put them because how else would I do the negatives?
Yeah. It's one of those. It reads the negatives but not the positives. So that's kind of what that is. So yeah, you don't have to put the pluses
That's
in there.
That's a very bad attitude that macro has.
I know. Well, here's my question to you, Jim, and I respect your rule as Master of Ceremonies. Are we taking the 7 or the 10?
I think that I'm going to take. Let's see. It is. Well, it's gonna be it's still gonna be it's actually an 8 because it should have been 4 plus 1 plus 3. And so that's what we're actually taking. But now we know what was wrong with that one.
Excellent. We've solved the issue.
So yeah.
So I aim for a crucial spot, and on a 7 to 9, I inflict +1 harm.
Okay, excellent.
And I am aiming for the eyes.
All right. So, excellent. So, what does your weapon normally do?
That's a good question.
Are you using the razor, or what are you using?
Yeah, I'm using the razor.
Okay.
The razor. Just trying to figure out where that was.
That is that's on page 15 of the core book. So it inflicts 2 normally. It is a hand weapon. It is also messy, but it's also quiet. So you've inflicted 3 harm.
Mm-hmm. And I've blinded it.
And you have blinded it as well. So it's not only can it not move from this spot, it is now also blinded. So it is having a heck of a time.
Poor lizard.
Poor lizard.
It was going to eat you.
But it's failed to die.
So have others.
1, 2, 3. Actually, it does not fail to die, because it is at this point that you have actually hit a major artery, and it just sort of is like now it's sort of twitching and bleeding out there on the sand.
Dibs on the tail.
Loam is just standing there off to the side and appears to have just been staring down the other one. And so it and the lizard are sort of been staring at each other. And it seems to be held there. It's not. It doesn't seem to be moving at all. So you all have a moment. Loam just sort of while Loam is staring at the lizard, without looking up, he just sort of points at the hill.
Guess we should keep going that way.
Well, first I'm going to look at the hill to make sure there's not some giant thing there now that he's pointing at. But then otherwise, yeah, I think we should go that way and leave this other lizard alone.
Yeah, you don't see anything. I mean, if you want to do something to this other lizard, you certainly may. But he seems to be recommending that you head in that direction.
I'm kneeled over trying to cut the tail off of the dead lizard.
Okay. Take a moment. What are you using to cut the tail off?
My knife.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't take long. It's gonna, gotta hack through. You now have a lizard tail.
Excellent. They're good luck,
And, John, as you're sort of passing by Loam, you hear a sort of echoing in your head. You should watch that. The earth requires immediate payment when it asks for things. I'll be along. And you continue. And as you are moving up the hill, you see there is what seems to be, as you get sort of closer, this is before you get, to the, you sort of see that there's something on top of the hill. There's a, what looks like a, sort of a lean-to that's been built. And
what's that?
I believe they call that a shelter.
I'm gonna look over at them and just like, who's sheltering up on top of this hill out in
Who
the
would
middle of
live here?
nowhere.
Well, he just kind of looks over at John.
Could be Loam's house for all we know.
I don't know what I expected Loam to live in, but that looks a little ramshackle even for Loam.
Any of you been out here before?
Once or twice. Don't recall seeing a shelter out here, though.
I think we should head toward it since that's where he was pointing, but
Yes.
just be on alert.
Go ahead. Why don't you give it a knock or two?
So,
Go along.
And just as we're either all together or everyone's just in front of me, I will completely without warning bellow at the top of my lungs. Hello, the shelter!
What? Why would you do that?
It's what one does. If you're not trying to sneak up to kill them and take all their stuff, you tell them you're coming.
How do you know we weren't going to sneak up on them and kill them and take all their stuff?
Well, some of us are wearing bells, so I don't think we're equipped to do a whole lot of sneaking.
I silently walk up behind John. Well, now. Then I just step away. Don't turn around. Just walk backwards while looking at you. Bell jingling.
I mean, sometimes you don't want to alert people to your presence because you're worried they might kill you. So that's a concern too.
I didn't really figure Loam sent us up here to get jumped.
Probably not, but who knows how much he actually knows.
So, you are cresting the hill. And you see, sitting under the lean-to is a figure. She's got a very nasty looking, they've got a very nasty looking, like a machete.
Oh.
They seem to be playing with they're wrapped again in very dusty garments. Their face is covered in dust and minerals. And they're wearing a hat. Sort of wide-brimmed hat sort of droops a little. Who are you who comes here?
Lone sent us? He's back there with the lizard.
It's me, Ducks.
You say that like they'll know you.
I don't know. People know about me.
This is true. You are rather infamous.
You who are touched by chance?
Possibly.
And she is this person you think might be, but it's hard to say. They're sort of sitting there again. Sort of seem to be using the machete to like get at things under their nails. Sort of looking.
What are you doing up here?
I am keeping watch. Keeping watch for Loam. How do I, if he is not with you, how do I know you did not slay him?
Wait, you said that you're keeping watch? Have you been here watching this whole time? Well, have you?
This is the wrong question. He turns the blade down and looks at you over its hilt.
I can play that game too, but. And Tony kind of crouches down and very quickly runs over, like half a run, half a duck walk. Have you seen a small creature about this big, with 2 pointed antlers and a face that is 2 halves of 2 different colors? Have you seen it? It is furry and it jumps and it moves very quickly.
Not this again.
This is important. Hush yourself, ducks. Have you seen the 2-colored jackalope?
She sort of looks, just sort of is looking and sort of locks eyes with you. Once the lizards kept him away.
Well, one of the lizards is dead, so we don't got to worry about that anymore. So all I need to know... all you care about is loam, isn't it? Do we need to go get loam? Is speak a full sentence. Need we fetch you loam?
And she sort of is looking, and she says, "Loam comes in his own time."
I'm just gonna rock back on my heels.
What do you wish here? You come here to ask after the jackalope?
No, I suspect we came here to ask after the water.
Ah.
Oh, now, yeah. Oh, now you want to. I get up and I walk away. Useless.
She slowly stands up. She looks over and as you sort of are looking in the direction she's looking, and you see Loma's just standing there now at the just behind you folks. It's kind of at the edge of the hill.
Jeez, oh, you're as scary as Tony is.
He shrugs. You have... And she just sort of gestures to him, and he comes around. He nods. She looks up. "I am called Salt. I say this now to you so that you do not have to wait for this one to finish writing it." And he's just like... And he starts drawing some things in the ground.
Thank you.
She looks over. "The highest thing you can see here, from this place. The Rusted Butte." And you look over, of course, to the northeast, you see the Rusted Butte. Where those who follow death are ensconced. There is water.
Why can no one in this town give simple directions?
Thank you.
She just sort of looks at you.
She just said that thing over there that is hard to miss is where the water is.
Well, there was a bunch of words I didn't understand.
And look how big it is. I mean, anything might be there. Anything.
Including the jackalope.
We should go this way. I have not been this way.
You have a choice to make upon facing the cult of death. You can go right there if you wish and attempt to overcome them, but they may be very close to gaining death's favor. They are already not as they were. They change. She looks over and sees Amelia. You know this. You have a choice. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
What can you tell us of this cult?
They seek the favor of death. Death in this valley is playing a game. Playing a game with the trickster.
Sure do love just being a little guinea pig for death here.
Should they? But so they seek out those to sacrifice, to appease death, to gain favor, and perhaps survive, though again not as they were. But there are 4 possible paths to get a more of an upper hand on them. There are items you could acquire. And should you have at least one of these items, I would say it would greatly increase your chances of getting at their water.
And where might these items be?
He will know. She looks over at Loam. Loam sort of cocks his head and sort of gestures to Salt to explain. Sort of like, Salt says, "You will not have time to collect all of them, I would say. That would be foolish. But 1, maybe 2. The scalpel of a chirurgeon, the coin of a god, the scythe of a god, or the cauldron of a sage hen. These are your choices." Loam just sort of rocks back and just sort of nods. Tell him which you want, and he will lead you to them.
So we get some of these items, and we bargain with the cult of death to get at the water?
What you do is up to you. Bargain or vanquish, or find some other means. I have done what I can. And with that, she will turn, she will sit back down. And we're going to, I think, at this point, take a little break, since I just realized we're we're well into it right now. If folks are good with that, I'm going to go ahead and take a break, and we will be back in a few minutes, during which time I shall throw up an interview here.
Sounds good.
We shall see you shortly.
Alrighty.
Welcome to the break. I have Justin and Mike from Mageham Press here to talk to us about various things, in particular about Mageham Press. Welcome, folks. How's it going?
Hi, thanks for having us, Jim.
Hi, doing pretty well.
Awesome. Great to have you. Thank you for coming. So for folks who might not be familiar, tell us a little bit about Mageham Press itself. What is it?
So we're a small company that makes stuff for D&D 5th edition. We're dabbling in other things, but for the most part, and for I guess over 5 years now. Oh my god, I'm getting so old. We have been making stuff exclusively for 5th edition, and we've been making a lot of stuff. We have done hundreds and hundreds of subclasses. We have done books of all sizes, all the way up to hardcover books that are going into stores hopefully soon when the world is back in order, and if that doesn't date this too badly, and all sorts of other stuff that's been released in PDFs everywhere across the internet.
Cool, excellent. Well, how did this thing get started?
So back when 5th edition was just getting kicked off, I decided, since I made a lot of stuff when I was in 3.5 just for my own little campaigns, I would start a little blog as a place to hold the stuff I would let my players pick from, little subclasses and race options I wanted them to have, because going from 3.5, D&D 3.5 with its massive amounts of content, or even Pathfinder with its pretty big amounts of content, down to 5th edition, which had one book. I think the Monster Manual might have been out by the time we got over to it too. So, but no subclasses, but it was a very modular system. So I was like, make a few things, put it on here. And then Reddit got a hold of it. And then I had a regular base of commenters, and I'm like, okay, let's keep this up. And I kept posting very regularly. And then we had a Patreon, and then we had a Kickstarter, and it just kind of ran away with us. So it started with just me and my friend Ben, and then we got on a few more writers from that I had known from the Giant and the Playground forums, with an old bastion of D&D, just extremely good people there. And during our first Kickstarter, Justin bullied his way onto the team for excellent reason, because he has all of the expertise in just being able to deal with people that, like, a designer, somebody who is just constantly writing and building and doing graphic design and stuff, doesn't have. And it's nice to be able to kind of have someone else to help you split that attention. So that first Kickstarter was a major success, and he's been on the team ever since.
Yeah. So basically, I was a patron at the time, and I really wanted Dark Matter to be funded, and their social media presence was non-existent. So I wrote up a 10-point plan of here's how you're going to make sure that Dark Matter gets funded using social media and spending virtually no money on marketing. And then they didn't do it. So then I posted a revised 8-point plan that was going to be simpler, and it still didn't happen. So then eventually, after I got down to a 5-point plan, I was just like, damn it, just let me do it if you're not going to do it, because this book's not getting funded unless you start using social media. They hemmed and hawed. They finally gave me the keys to the kingdom, and they went from not going to be funded to hitting every stretch goal. And then, I proved myself too invaluable to just be kicked back off the team. So now they let me write things every now and then, and I get to, tweet and hang out in Twitch streams and what have you.
Awesome. That's how to do it. Burrow your way in. Very cool. Very cool. So what was your first, you're mentioning your first Kickstarter. What was that for?
That was for Dark Matter. We're big into genre stuff. We've done little books for, magical westerns. We've done books all about the Fae. And then we had this kind of idea of, hey, let's just take D&D, put it in sci-fi, don't make a whole new rule set, just have it sit on top of the core rules. And we thought that had enough depth, and it was kind of the fun, loose genre stuff that we liked working in. So we kickstarted and it did really well. We hopefully will be doing, we'll talk about this later, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully we'll be doing another Kickstarter for that soon, to do a second print run and get adventures and a starter kit. So you can really introduce people to D&D through science fiction instead of having them to bend over backwards to do it through Tolkien fantasy, essentially.
Yeah, totally. And so it sounds like you had basically this sort of groundswell that started from a sort of a distribution over just getting into social media and stuff, that as you sort of had built up, so the I guess how have things changed for you then over the years as this has gotten bigger?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. So our standards had to rise quite a bit because we were just putting stuff on a blog for free, a couple of posts a week. Okay, we don't really need art, and if we do need art, it's just a DeviantArt thing, and we'll credit it. And now it's, hey, if we really want to put out, a Kickstarter that's going to have 180 pages, right? That's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars. So we have to be very smart about how we go about putting that together and funding it. And we have a team of 6 artists that we regularly commission right now, and a handful of writers, and the team has grown a lot, and the standards have also grown in tandem. And as of a couple months ago, this is my full-time job. This is what I do just to keep, because hopefully with a couple more Kickstarters under our belt, we'll be doing just super, super cool. Fingers crossed.
My full-time job too.
Yeah, who knows? And that's not a thing almost anyone in this industry can say. Everybody is doing this as a part-time job. We've seen people who've had much better Kickstarters than us still be doing this as a part-time job because of kind of where they live and kind of how they live and everything. But we think we can make this pretty huge. We think we have some awesome products to bring to people, especially if you love 5th edition, right? If you love role-playing games, we have the products for you.
Awesome. So is like D&D you fellas' favorite game, just sort of to do at any point, even when you're not working, that kind of deal, or do you have other stuff you also like to dive into?
I personally, so 5e is my favorite. But I enjoy City of Mist, Savage Worlds. I'm interested in checking out Cyberpunk Red. I'm open to other games, but yeah, by far I think 5e is fantastic because of how flexible it is. And if we were only using official content, yeah, it would be kind of just trapped in Tolkien fantasy. But long before I started working for Mage Hand Press, I was spoiled by all the different settings. So it's like, hey, we're going to go in the Feywild and do weird Fey stuff. Oh, hey, we're going to do a Western. Hey, let's go to space, etc. And it's kept, for me at least, it's kept it fresh and fun, even though I've been playing the same system for some years now.
And so as a designer, I want to read as much as I possibly can, read lots of different systems, know lots about different systems. But as a DM and sometimes as a player, it's hard to find groups to run anything other than 5th edition, especially right now when, hey, 5th edition is huge and it's where a lot of people got into role-playing games. Even though there's a lot of easier systems, there's anything powered by the apocalypse is easy enough that anyone can run it and anyone can play it, but people are comfortable within their D&D space. They just want it to be more exciting. So that's definitely kind of where we angle, and it's because I know that people have that problem of, hey, I really like this new RPG. It could even be a big mainline RPG. If you good luck getting a group together for the Witcher RPG. I think that's a great RPG. We've spoke to the people who designed it. They're awesome. And we know tons of people who want to play it, but it's not as big as something like 5th edition. So yeah, those are obstacles. So we do play a lot of 5e in our free time.
Oh yeah, well no, totally understandable. That's the thing is that I remember seeing once, because I like playing D&D, and I also like playing indie games, as folks who watch this channel will realize, and it's. It is very a struggle, especially a big struggle, especially on the local level, to try to get folks for anything else. I've seen people sort of question, well, what does D&D provide? And I'm like, players. you actually, D&D kind of comes with players, whereas anything else, no lie, part of the reason I started this channel was so that I could play other stuff as well. Totally, it's very cool to see a love for any RPG blossom into the kind of enterprise you folks are doing. And so I think it's really great to see what you've put out at this point, and I'm just eager to see what's coming. But in the meantime, where can folks find you if they want to hunt down your stuff?
MageHandPress.com or at MageHandPress on Twitter.
Awesome. Well, thank you both very much for coming and talking to us. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and throw things back to me, future me, or probably the whatever Whatever the we're on intermission and we'll return in a moment screen probably is what we're going to throw back to, while we're still running around backstage crazily. But we will see you folks later. Take care. We have returned, and our survivors stand atop the hill with a choice to make. So what y'all doing?
So, do all four of these things give us the same quality of edge over the death cult?
As she's sitting there, she says, "They may. Depends how you use them."
Well, I'm thinking the cauldron sounds heavy.
And she just sort of, Salt sort of glances up at Loam. Loam is sort of shrugs, and he's like,
Oh, maybe not so bad then.
I think I like the idea of the scythe. It's maybe a weapon could be used against him somehow if it came down to it.
Well, I get the impression that we've got people that are already talented with the coin and the scalpel.
That would be factual. At least talented might be a strong word, but I know how to hold a coin, I know how to flip a coin, and I know how to lose a coin. Maybe not in that order. But.
One of three of those is not a real benefit to us.
You never know. Who knows how we're supposed to use what we find? Perhaps
True.
using it is the best way.
You might have the right of it.
Amelia, you have passing knowledge of these people, of where we're headed?
Little passing knowledge. Some familiarity with cults, though admittedly not a lot with this particular one. Have heard a bit about the death part of it. Like they said, like to sacrifice people.
So they like to sacrifice. So they fancy themselves dealers of death.
Yes, and I would imagine if a group of people came wandering in after their water, they'd probably make some pretty good sacrifices. So, more weapons could be better.
Well, best we find one of these objects, and then, well, we should do the honorable thing and let them meet the one they worship. It would be a kindness.
If it came down to it, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Only seems right. Now, what y'all think? That scythe sounds mighty opportune.
We could go that route.
Do we have any idea where any of them are?
I believe Mr. Loam here will be leading us to them.
More time with that guy and the snakes.
You hear a sort of a little rattle nearby.
I wouldn't worry about spending more time around him because, frankly, those snakes are sneaky, can travel far and fast. They can kill you in your bed just as much as they can kill you right behind him.
Why do you keep telling me that? It's not helping.
I'm trying to
Because-
make you feel better, Ducks.
Okay, the way I see it, back in town, we face certain death. We got a water issue, low on supply. Up there, that butte, knowing about that cult, that's the last place I wanted to go. But seems like certain death in town, or only possible death up there, and chance of water.
Uncertain death. A place where death is confused. I like that idea.
We're dead, or we're maybe dead. I'll go with maybe dead any day.
Okay.
So it sounds like that scythe is where we're headed. Does that sound good to you guys?
Sounds like a plan to me.
And then we'll see what sort of time we got. Maybe get something else.
Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning towards the coin, but, that's my bias.
Well, perhaps there's a way for us to do both. I mean, no one ever said that we all need to go for all of them. Perhaps some of us go for the scythe and some of us go for the coin, and we meet back here at Salt.
I think we need the snake feller. So unless he's got another one of him laying around, I'm not so sure about that.
That is fair.
Hey, Loam.
Inconvenient, but fair.
Hey, Loam, you think we can go for both?
He looks up at the sun, which is now directly overhead. It's like,
Let's go.
and John hears, it's possible.
Of course we can. If death is uncertain, one of us has to be. It may as well be us, right? Of course we can. I'm certain. Let's go get us a scythe.
Loam nods. He turns and he gestures to the south. He's gesturing sort of south-southwest. And he starts heading in that direction.
Before we leave, I'm gonna look at Salt. Is Salt your God-given name, or is that just what people call you?
It is the name the gods gave me.
The gods gave it to you, not your
Yes.
mama when you was a screaming baby?
She slowly will stand up. We do not speak of such things here. And you can tell that her grip on the machete is starting to get a little tighter.
Ah, okay. I understand. I've asked too many questions. My apologies.
And she just sort of looking back, and she says, "The last child should know better, she says, pointing at you.
What's that mean? Last child? Last child of Pine Valley or whatever?
Are you pregnant?
Oh, no.
Congratulations, ducks.
No, 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 no.
Oh, no.
I'm pretty sure it wasn't me.
I'm
There's
pretty
not
sure,
a big crowd in town. Air looks a little old.
I'm pretty sure she meant Angie here was the last child. I ain't seen no kids running around.
That probably makes more
Just
sense.
call me Mary, because that's a miracle baby. I tell you what.
I thought your name was Angie.
I'm talking about if I was pregnant.
Oh.
What? So the sire would be a woman named Mary.
Okay, yeah, sure. Let's just get going.
Yes,
It's been a real pleasure, Salt. Thanks for having us. She's gonna, like, as they walk away, like, hold her stomach, like, and look down and just shake her head no.
Tony's going to walk up to Angie, shaking the bell to announce Tony's presence. So how long have you and Mary been dating?
There ain't nobody named Mary, sweetie.
Oh, but I thought you and Mary y'all were having a baby.
No, they was confused because Salt was calling me the last child, and
So
then
you
they
are
thought,
pregnant?
No.
Yeah, but the mother isn't named Mary now.
No.
Hold on. There's a different sire then.
No, I don't. There's no baby. I'm not pregnant.
Okay.
Oh, my condolences, ma'am.
I'm confused.
So what happened to Mary? Do we need to go fetch her?
Oh, I was making a joke to... You know what? We're not even going to go there. Just know, not pregnant. It was a joke. There's no baby.
Mary's going to be very upset.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to walk backwards, keeping my eyes on Angie, and go and stand beside Ducks. I don't get the joke. Do you?
I've never met Mary. I'm not
I would, and I do not say this lightly, but I would feel horrible if one of my customers was a Mary. I never ask for their names when I'm not intending for them to leave.
I'm not involved in this. I don't.
Okay.
I'm just glad to know that we straightened it all out.
All right, so there is no Mary.
And no baby.
And no baby. I did not accidentally kill this unborn child's parent. That's what matters. All right.
As far as I can tell, yes.
Okay.
Lord help me.
Yeah.
We should probably keep an eye out for a Mary, though, just in case.
Or a baby.
Or a baby. Y'all never know. All right.
Yeah.
So, spaghetti the side, yes?
Yeah. Loam, I think, has sped up a little bit to probably... it's possibly to avoid this conversation.
Yes, let's just go get the scythe. That's where we're going.
I think Andrew's red in the face now. We've just at length talked about, like, her pregnancy and potential partner. She's just like, oh.
Duck is dumb.
Yeah.
Tony didn't have one of those good Christian upbringings.
So, as you stride out among the caskets, you kind of sort of as you're sort of setting out in this direction, you do notice that there's a lot of the land is particularly barren out here. There's there any plants that were here look like they've been stripped. Dead trees of their bark, and a few other just sort of plants are withered and dead or dying. You see a tumbleweed every now and then. He says, checking his locations real quick. Yes, there we go. Okay. You see a point where it's just sort of standing, and he's stopped, and he's looking up, and he's looking down and he's looking up, and he's looking down, as the path kind of seems to go kind of in two different directions. Well, path such as it is, trail. There's this boulder. He just sort of is looking around one side and the other. He stops and he turns around. And he just sort of points. So he points down the left side, and he does this. And then he's like, he turns and he points down the right side, and he does this. And then points up at the sun.
So one of them goes underground?
And one of them we have to crawl on our belly.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
And then he stops and is like,
well, if we go underground, it'd be hard to see, but there'd be no sun, huh?
John, you okay going underground?
Oh, sure.
I'm afraid we might not be okay. John will be fine.
That's more where the history goes.
Does anybody have light?
Can't say I do.
Nope.
Lone, do you think we'd be able to see down there?
I probably got one of the little miner lamps. Not a great one, but...
Well, this sun will kill you, but whatever's underground might kill you, so maybe death or maybe death again.
Hey, Lone, have you been down there before? That doesn't seem the most promising.
If I had to pick to die in the blistering sun or die in the reasonably comforting, cool, subterranean darkness, I'm going with underground.
Why are we talking about dying?
I think no matter how you look at it, you got a pretty good chance of dying. Whether from being out of water, being sacrificed by a death cult, who knows what's under.
No.
Under that hill.
I cut a deal. Speak for yourself. I'm good.
Attacked by giant man-eating buzzards, having our feet eaten away by cave rats.
Cave rats? What are they?
Rats that live in caves.
Well, that makes sense. Checks out.
They're hungry.
As are most things.
As you say that, I'm like taking jerky out of my pocket, trying to decide whether I should leave it outside or not.
Don't put that in your shoes.
I normally okay. I won't.
I've seen that go horrible bad. Horrible.
Where I'd usually keep jerky, but okay.
Sock jerky's the best jerky. I don't know what you're talking about.
Like, all sweaty and make your feet all greasy?
It's rehydrating it.
Makes the jerky softer.
I know
Tony,
nothing.
do you ever do this?
Everything I thought I knew about jerky has changed just now. I'm going to try and stuff the jerky that I have inside of the lizard tail that I'm carrying.
The one you just cut off?
Yeah, that one. Yep.
Well, that'll rehydrate it too.
That's my logic. Lizard sock. Same thing.
And that'll help dry out the lizard tail.
2 birds.
Who knows what you're gonna get on it that way? Are you trying to tempt your fate?
I'm always.
I mean, like, that thing's not even cooked.
Well, it's just holding it. They're cold-blooded. I'm sure it's like it's gonna like an ice box.
That is solid logic. A cold-blooded creature would keep meats and, well, if there were any vegetables left, cold.
So, Dux,
remember-
I'm going to ask you to roll plus creep for me, please. I'm just curious. Okay. I shall now make a note. And we will learn more about how the tale fares later.
Snake eyes is usually bad, but the extension of that in gambling is snake eyes bad, lizard tail good. Almost everyone knows that.
I didn't realize everyone knew that.
Almost everyone. Almost.
Loma's just sort of
Alright, I say we go underground.
Oh, I thought that was a decision we'd already made and we were just standing here for no reason.
We had a fine reason. Ducks had to store the jerky, lest we have nothing to eat underground. And now that we are prepared, we can go. And I'm going to turn around and look at everyone as I walk backwards into the cave.
Yeah, well, Loma's walking down the trail, which does go down as you folks are heading along.
That seems like a slippery slope to go backwards down.
Head down further. The road goes down, and then ultimately you see it. It does go into a cave.
As do we. Ha ha!
That's right. So, in here.
Home sweet home.
Cave, sweet cave. As you enter the cave, you can see just a little bit by the tiny light on John's head.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
before we go too far into this cave, while we still have good light, this is a thing that John would actually request and that I as a player think we might ought to remember. If somebody would be so kind as to aid another on me, that would fix one of my harms.
Oh, yes.
Well, if y'all need a bit of assistance, I could help with that.
Well, that first one's kind of like free, doesn't cost a tooth or anything. I, as a player, am saying.
Don't do it.
can
So
try to patch you up a bit if you need it.
that would be lovely. Thank you.
It's all right. I'll fill my jar eventually.
I have no doubts.
Must rest for one night or have another character give aid. If this is done, they gain +1 vitality. First aid is a free action, but you can only receive it once per injury or status condition. So, who's giving aid? Alright. So, therefore...
Amelia, the useful and least creepy one.
That's right. So
Duck is
roll
not
backbone.
creepy.
Roll plus backbone.
That's why I started with useful.
Well, under those qualifications, yeah.
Well, now I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Let's see here.
Okay.
No, it added 1 twice. 6 plus 1 plus 1. Okay. I think that has an extra 1 on it.
Okay, yeah. If you already have a 1 in the attribute, you do not have to add it when it asks. You can just put a 0 there, or you should just put a 0 there if it when the box pops up afterwards saying asking.
First time I tried it that way, so then I got there and I wasn't sure what I was doing.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, well that's still 7 to 9 either way. So giving aid. So you regain. You're successful. And so John regains 1 vitality.
Hooray!
And is now slightly more alive than before.
Again! Hooray!
Again, yes. So there is, as you discover going through this tunnel, there are bioluminescent rocks in here. It's not a lot. You still have limited visibility, but it does help. You know, that and the little light.
Oh, I would have killed for these things.
As you are heading down and through, though, and again, like I said, limited vision, but you can hear things scuttling.
Not those things.
You hear some things.
Amelia readies her knife.
Every now and then, rocks fall a little bit from the ceiling.
Please don't be cave rats.
Can you still feel your toes?
I think so.
Oh, might want to count them.
You're not tricking me to take my shoes off down here, John. Sorry.
So,
You have to take your shoes off to count your toes?
Duck just walks away.
Who's in front? Who's in back?
I think I'm in the front. I did walk in
Yeah.
without looking, so.
I suspect I'm probably next.
Okay.
So I'll be in the
Although-
middle.
We're probably both behind Loam.
Yeah, I mean, Loam's basically in the front, but at the same time, I'm just sort of asking of the PCs. So we have Tony.
I'm probably right now. I'm probably the last.
Let your last. Okay. Okay.
I can see where you'd be going slower because you keep checking for your toes.
Yeah.
It's important to know.
Flex, flex. Feels like 10. Flex, flex.
I mean, you know, it's helpful to be certain. Toes being what they are. Let's see. we're going to ask... as this is all going on. Redux, as you are investigating your toe situation, I'm going to ask you to roll plus smooth for me, please.
Had to go to the back. Had to go to the smash. No bonuses, correct?
No, not unless you have something
Just
to
a
help you with
straight-
investigation.
Just a straight roll.
Yep. Okay. So... there comes a point, as you've been going down periodically through, that as you've been going periodically through, you're getting to a point where you're down pretty low in the earth, and Dux, as you're once again checking down just to look, and you can see in the glow from the rocks. For a moment you look down and it appears as though there are 3 feet.
3 human feet?
Well, the shoe in the middle starts to move.
That's not normal.
And you realize that it's not actually a shoe. As it opens and there's a mouth, and it attempts to clamp toward your right leg.
I scream at the top of my lungs, "Cave rats!"
What would you like to do? Anything aside from... Would you like to try to get out of its way, or...
Yeah, that seems like a valid decision. Sure, yeah.
I just wanted to know if you wanted to share yourself with the cave rats. I mean,
No, I would like to avoid it.
It's not very generous of you. Okay. So...
What do I roll to avoid?
To avoid the cave rats?
Yeah, that in essence.
I feel as though this is going... this is going to be shielding to protect yourself, so that's going to be a roll plus brawn.
Oh, goody. Lucky me. Oh, perfect.
Ah, excellent. That's great. That's very good. So this creature that seems to be, that seems to have burrowed its way out here, clamps its teeth down, and you feel these very sharp, very sharp little teeth digging into your flesh, and it's like it sinks in, and there's like something it's like you can kind of hear down from it, and you're going to take 1 harm. And,
not my toes.
And it's not your toes, thankfully. You do have just a touch of poisoning, however, now, which will come about.
Well, that's...
Which we'll figure out later. You have the sort of the poisoning status effect.
Now, at this point, could I trade water to avoid that?
Let's see. Do you have a thing that lets you do that?
Well, it just says you may also trade a drink of water to change a roll to 12 or avoid harm.
Oh. One moment.
And if you avoid the harm, you would likely avoid the poison, I would think.
You would likely
That is
avoid
my
the poison.
thought. Yeah.
That is very likely. Yes. You may, if that's a thing you can do. Then
yes, that's. I would like to do that.
Okay, so
I think everyone can do that. No, or is that?
That's a feature of the water.
Yeah.
feature of the... Oh yeah, that's right. You may also trade a drink of water to change your roll to a 12 or avoid harm. So yes, cross off more water. We've been through, by the way, for those of you keeping track, 2 water should already have been crossed off since we've hit midday. We've gone past midday. And then Dux is now crossing off a 3rd water. And in what way do you avoid... Now, the teeth are starting to dig in, but in what way do you avoid the harm?
Well, this whole time, I've been... My feet have kind of been half in my shoes. I've been curling my toes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like as I walk, you know, when you walk with your toes curled under your foot. So when this thing jumped out and went to bite me, my immediate reaction was to curl my toes and withdraw. And it chomped down on the front of my shoe, but missed all of my toes.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, it just basically it's like, well, yeah, it seems to clamp your leg for a second, but you move just in time to sort of pull away. You do feel the teeth for a second, but they don't. It's not enough. It clamps down on your shoe, misses your toes, and now as you're sort of kind of looking back, you notice that there are a bunch of them back there behind you.
I go into like as long before the next action rant of shit. There's so many of them.
There are many. They're about maybe. I don't know. There's no time to count them right now. There's a finite number, but it's hard to know. So I'm going to go around once again. Let's see. Now we're going to go over to Angie. You're right in front of Dux. You hear this? What do you want to do?
I'm gonna whip out my knife and attempt to stab the one that bit him.
Okay, excellent. So you are attacking.
Yes.
And so again, unless you have a special move for this, then you're just going to be rolling plus brawn.
Yes.
That is excellent.
Whoa.
Did that work?
Yeah, you got an 11.
Oh, nice. Yes.
Nice.
So your Kanife does 2 damage. So you plunge down into this wee thing. You actually kill that one. And so that one's down. You manage to sort of draw back, but you see that they're like, you're looking. It looks like there may be like something like still maybe half a dozen left, like 5 or 6. They're about this big. They're like each like a foot and a half long or so. They're pretty big, and they are, their eyes are glowing slightly. They're not. They look rather hungry. They have these shoe-shaped snouts.
Why is it gotta be cave rats? Could be anything.
It's a great question. John, what are you doing? Actually, I'm sorry. I'm just going to keep moving forward through the. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep moving forward. Amelia, what are you doing?
I want to use my knife I had ready and stab the closest one to me.
Okay, excellent. You can kind of come around. There's enough room in the cave. It's not like you have to go single file. So yeah, you come around with your Kanife, and you attack. So once again, unless you have a special move here, roll plus brawl. Brawn. Brawl is an entirely different word.
Oh, wow.
Excellent.
Have a -1 to brawn, so I didn't expect that to do so well.
You
Wow.
too. Your blade arcs down as you seize the life of another cave rat. Plunges right through its brain. And now there are only maybe like 4 left. Continuing to move forward. John, what are you doing?
I am going to casually mention now, the cave rats are often found working with things like cave lions and cave bears, harrying prey toward the larger predator so they can eat the leftovers. So I'm going to look up here And I'm going to take a minute and make sure there's nothing bigger on the other direction.
Ah, excellent. So,
After I've scared ducks for fun.
That's not fun.
You're wrong, ducks.
So you're investigating, so unless you have a special move here, please roll plus smooth.
Oh, that's not going to go good. Hey, there we go.
Okay. So.
I don't think it took the -1.
Yeah, I don't think so. But either way, that would make it a 7.
Yeah,
so
same
it's the same
roll. It's
result.
just,
Yeah,
I think we just have to be aware that.
Yeah. Let me look at your. Let me just look.
Let me try one other thing real quick. That was a smooth.
Did you end up putting anything in the pop-up box that came up?
I didn't.
Okay.
And that was
There you
it.
go.
That was the difference.
Yeah, you need to put a
Okay.
0 in there if it pops up and you don't have a modifier.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, sadly, unfortunately, I have a very limited number of things I can do with the coding right now. I still need I still have much. There is still much to learn with macros, and probably some stuff I don't have access to because I haven't given them enough money. But we'll see. In any case, yes. So there's good news and bad news.
Oh.
So. Which do you want first?
Well, give me the good news.
Okay, the good news is that you have a very good view at this point of everything that's behind you, and you know now exactly where everything is. You've just managed it.
Okay. And the bad news?
The bad news is that there is a larger creature that you can see sort of still. It's a bit of a ways off, but it looks like it sort of, you see it kind of clawing its way through the wall to come into the tunnel. It is you think it's a large burrowing creature that probably is in fact on the trail of these rats. But it's still a good ways away. So it's still possible to get away from it.
I'm going to turn back and say, ha-ha! There is a larger creature burrowing out of the wall ahead of us.
Behind you.
Behind us.
Yes.
So we need to watch out for that and get moseying along.
Excellent. Now let's move up to the front of the line. Tony, what are you doing?
Oh, and I'll start walking forward at that point.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've turned back and I've cocked my head and I'm watching ducks protect his toes, and then I'm watching everyone swipe at and fight with the tiny cave rats, and I shrug. And I guess, well, first it was lizards, now it's rats. And I will go for 2 of the remaining rats. I will use my aspect to do this, depending on what I get. So I will first roll plus brawn. If that work. Oh, right. I have to put in the 0.
Yes.
There we go. Got a 9.
Okay. And let me just check the thing so that I can remember how this works. You're cutting to the bone?
So I cut to the bone.
Aspect.
I'm doing.
Yeah.
So my aspect lets me basically attack twice. So with my first attack, I got a 9, so that gives me +1 on harm, and then I have an extra attack move with my razor once per encounter. If your attack is successful, you gain +1 vitality for you or an ally. So I'm guessing I have to roll again for the second attack.
One second. Hang on.
Sure.
What was the aspect again? What was it called? Shaving a haircut? Is that the one?
Don't know. It's called Don't Miss Twice.
Don't
It's
miss
number
twice.
2.
Don't miss twice. That's called extra attack move once per encounter. If your attack is successful, you gain +1 vitality. So, if this, I'm assuming that it's still referring to this extra attack. So yes, you may take that now if you so desire. So yes, you would roll again. This move. Once more, cut to the bone. This one has not died completely yet. You only did 1 harm to it.
No, but wait, my razor does.
Oh wait,
3
it
harm.
does? Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
because the razor does 2 plus
That's
1,
right.
so it's 3 harm.
That's right. Yes, this one dies.
I thought so.
Yes. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing. Okay, so
Same
yes, but you may
thing
take
again.
it. Yeah, you may do so again. Okay.
Yep.
So yes, so this attack 2 is successful. So you've taken out 2 of the rats. Basically, you give them very close shaves.
Well, I very politely lean over, and with one arm behind my back, I have the razor out, and I just very quickly, little flick of the wrist.
Nice. And that is +1 vitality for you or an ally.
Does anyone need vitality?
I'm still 1 down.
Then take it.
Thank you very much, nice lady.
I'm nice when I want to be.
And yes, you basically just managed to bolster John enough, being right there as these things are coming up on him, to give him his vitality. Excellent. Now as we come back around, there are 2 rats left, and something breaking its way out of the wall and into the tunnel, and it's just sort of shaking its head right now, as far as you can tell, as it's broken now into the tunnel. We come back around to Ducks. What would you like to do?
Well, now that I have all my toes in order, I want to use the In the Cards ability, where I, what your future holds. Take 2d6, designate 1 for me, 1 for the enemy, roll each die. Whoever's die has the higher number gets a +1 on any modifier for the rest of the encounter. So that creature coming through the wall, or the thing coming through the wall, are they more rats, or... Because I didn't really see them.
The thing that's coming through the wall that is further away is... I'm sorry?
I did say large burrowing creature, so it's not a rat.
Well, it could be. I don't know. So the large burrowing creatures who I'm going to identify for the ability.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to roll for them now.
Okay.
And then now roll for myself.
Okay.
And
right.
they get a +1 versus me. That's the luck that Ducks has.
Okay. So +1 any modifier they use for the remainder of the encounter. Okay. Now they do not roll specifically, but that means that they will have basically either that they will have a little bit of advantage.
Yes.
And something. So that might mean extra damage, or it might mean something else. So you have done that. You basically take a moment, and you have identified that, and it's like, as you're looking at it, this is this is kind of a I think they call these cave bears, but it's not a bear. They just call them that because they look somewhat bear-like, but they also look kind of like kind of badger-like, and you've realized what this is, and that it's probably, once it gets moving, you might be able to stay ahead of it, but you're gonna want to start now if that's the case. Angie, what are you doing? Muted?
Yeah, there you go. Sorry. Are we in decision that we're gonna flee from this thing, or
up to you?
I would recommend it. Probably kill the cave rats and then hit the trail.
So kill the rats first. Is that what we want to do?
This is a game where we can kill something and then walk, right?
Yes, if you so
Okay.
desire, yes. However, if you do not, however, just once again, it's more like it's more of a narrative thing, really. So, it's like if it depends on how much effort you're putting into how much narrative effort you're putting into killing the thing, and if I feel as though that means that you would get less of a chance to run, I don't know. You have to see what happens.
Okay.
We might ought to split. She's gonna she's gonna grab Dux's arm and just like tug on him.
Oh, good idea. Good idea.
So you are fleeing?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Basically, you turn and run. The rats have tiny legs. They're not going to be able to keep up with you terribly well, probably. So that is Angie and Dux. You are kind of like booking it toward the front of the line. Amelia, what are you doing?
Amelia follows. She.
Okay.
Yeah. I think if we can get out, not having to use up as much energy, getting hurt as much, save it for later.
Okay. And John, what are you doing?
I will scamper on and hope that the big badger thing will come across the small pile of dead rats and just eat those.
Makes sense. Tony, what are you doing?
I notice everyone running off in a direction. Shrug. I'll keep going with everyone. I mean, if we stay in a group, my odds of survival are increased. I just have to be faster than someone else.
It's not nice.
Excellent. So, Angie, as you have led the charge to escape, I'm going to ask you to roll something here. This is survive. So we're going to go with. So we're going to go. Where did it go? Backbone. Once again, I'm going to ask you to roll backbone. Oh, that is a very low number. So, as you are dashing away from this thing, now, thankfully, a miss does not necessarily mean failure, but it does. There is a price. You're dashing away from this thing. It's running behind you. Now it's like as the moment you started running, it just charged. It was like as you're running through the caves, and there comes a point as you're running, and you're near you see some mild light up ahead. That looks like more natural light. It's not well. I mean, not that the phosphorus is unnatural, but you're getting ahead. Loam is trying to get you all ahead. You folks are nearly at the exit. Angie, you're going to, unfortunately, as you cannot see incredibly well still. You're going to hit a jagged rock that is sticking out, and as you are trying to get out, this thing is like nearly on your heels. You feel as though you're bleeding a little bit, and you're stumbling a bit. It's coming up, and it's sort of reaching forward, and it claws through your trouser leg a little bit. You're going to take 1 harm. But ultimately, it too gets caught up on this rock, trying to get around it. And you all have made it up and out of the cave. You have stumbled your way up out of the cave, and as you do so,
terrifying.
Yeah, you see Loam sort of getting you, sort of waiting for you all to come out, and he kind of is sort of poking at something, and a few rocks fall down as this thing was trying to get forward, and it's like a couple of rocks hit it, and it sort of backs away. outside the cave, it is night, for you have been down there for a while. And the moon is up, not terribly high in the sky yet. But you see before you a flat plain and extending out just on the edge of your vision amidst the various dead scrub-like plants leading up to it, kind of looking oasis-like. You see the bone quarry.
Oh.
Lying in it, the moon shining down upon it, glinting off this lake-like thing filled with bones, gleaming white in the moonlight. And that is where we are going to pause for this week.
Wow, that's scary. That's unsettling.
Thank you all very much for playing. I very much appreciate it. We're going to go around and do our outros. Feel free to tell folks where they can find you and any final thoughts you had about this session. And we shall start with Joel.
Oh, hi. My name is still Joel. I had a lovely time here, and I think the biggest takeaway we should all keep is that really protective footwear is your best bet if you're going to be around cave rats.
It's factual.
Keep that in mind as you spend your summer vacations underground.
That's right. Much agreed. And now let's head over to Marlo.
Hi, I'm Marlo. You can find me above as my Twitter handle. I do lots of cool things, so find me there. And I think my biggest takeaway from tonight is that the education system, at least the religious education system in the Pine Valley, is not that great. So.
I mean, the last church got destroyed by caskets, so...
It did. That's true.
If you don't go to casketism class, you're never going to learn.
Oh my God.
Proud of that. You proud of that, Joel? You should be.
I am. Fun fact, I was actually held back in adult Catholic education classes. They made me go a bonus year.
Stream for another time. I have so many questions.
Oh my God. Well, we have much to ponder now. But for the nonce, let us now move on. Let us now move on to Kenny.
Hey, had a good time. You can find me above ground on most days, and I will be protecting my toes from now on when I sleep. And I will also be keeping an eye out for Mary.
You never know. You never know when Mary will strike.
I'm a little upset I didn't know about the relationship, but I get it.
I mean, these things.
Yeah.
They're private, It's
private stuff.
You're expected to know. And now over to Kestrel.
I am Kestrel. You can find me at Kestrel Ray on most social media. Had fun tonight. It's interesting seeing where all this is going to go. Fun to play something completely different than I've ever done before. My main takeaway, I think, Amelia's main takeaway, was to maybe be careful with jokes, because she's seen how it goes when people try to make jokes, and she kind of wants to avoid all the explanations and confusion and just trying to keep quiet.
They're a little too literal around here.
Comedians are dangerous in the end times. Last comedians are all in these caskets. Nice, nice. And finally, over to Alyx.
Hi, I am Alyx Wolf. You can find me on Twitter at the name displayed on top of my image. And I'm usually on Jim's channel or lurking on some of the Magpie games. I've been playing a lot of their curated GM lately, so if you sign up for some Bluebeard's Bride, you might end up with me at the table because it's my new obsession. I learned that apparently it is not common knowledge that putting a bell on a killing machine is how you make it a more efficient killing machine. So, yeah, this will be fun. Got some cat logic here. You know, it's really going to lean into it.
If only someone had put a bell on the cave bear, I tell you. Might have helped. Who knows? Who knows? Nice. Excellent. And let's see. That leaves me. Once again, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and some of my fiction and games I've been working on, along with links to game signups and applications to join our Discord. I also, one more time, just want to mention a couple of charities. Once again, we've got a drive going for the Bale Project through our Sprawl campaign. So feel free to check that out. We are Team Phyllis. Links are there and at a panel down below. Also, I encourage folks to check out Campaign 0, Campaign to End Police Violence. So I think those are both things that folks can take a look at, and indeed should. So what am I doing? Tomorrow morning, I'm going to be over on Prax's channel, Praxagora Thesmophoria, playing in a game she's just come out with, Descended from the Queen, called Conspiracy of 44 BCE, and it's about the assassination of Julius Caesar. And I cannot wait to get the stabbery going. Very, very much looking forward to that. On Thursday afternoons, I am over on Encounter Roleplay running Deadlands Noir, Dreams of Dust. It's a Western Noir game set out in the Dust Bowl. We've got a traveling carnival that has come to town, and folks, members of it are now they're kind of stuck there for the next couple of days, and amidst of a lot of folks eating human flesh, so that has to be dealt with, as one does. On Thursday nights, back over on this channel, we have our Sprawl campaign, the aforementioned Sprawl campaign, that is run by our MC Brian, where I play a very kind cyborg who kills people. And then on Saturday nights, I run Invisible Sun. Hello, Lindy. I was possibly thank you for the raid. I was possibly about to raid you, as we're actually in the process of wrapping up as we speak.
That'll be beautiful. It'll be a double raid.
Dual raid. Awesome. Thanks so much for coming. We've just wrapped up Casket Land. This session of Casket Land, whereupon we go forth and try to survive in a desert surrounded by monsters. It's wonderful. But as I was saying, on Saturday night I run Invisible Sun, and then this Sunday I am actually taking off. Normally we do one-shots, and we normally have in the evenings we have our Dark Matter campaign run by Alyssa, but this Sunday we are taking off. I need a little time to figure some stuff out and just take a wee bit of a break. So that is what will be happening, but then there will be more stuff a week from Sunday. Monday night, I am over on Salty Sweet Games, playing in their 5e campaign, Strange Invasion, Assault on the Barrier Peaks. And then Tuesday night, 1 week from tonight, back here, we will have more of this. We will have we'll have the next part of Casket Land, and we'll see how they do at the Bone Quarry. And we'll sort of see if they go for another artifact after that, before facing the cult atop the butte. I'm very much looking forward to that. Let's see. When we hit the end card, I am going to send a raid over to... There are so many people streaming right now. I'm going to send a raid, I think, over to Penny for a Tale. They do stuff. They're doing a world building episode, an episode 1 of something. So that looks exciting, and it looks like they're using Trello, which is doubly exciting. So we're going to go over there and say hi to them. Feel free to hang out if you are so inclined and say hi to them with us. That again will be when we hit the end card. In the meantime, folks, thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will see you next week. Farewell.